Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to be discussing the government's U-turn on the free school meal voucher system. So over the past few days there's been a campaign spearheaded by the footballer Marcus Rashford for the government to extend the free school meal voucher system that they put in place over the Easter half term to the summer. This gives parents whose children are eligible for free school meals a £15 a week voucher to spend in supermarkets to ensure that their children are fed. Because of the coronavirus, as I said, this was extended to Easter, but the government decided they wouldn't extend it to the summer. God knows why. And after Keir Starmer raised this issue at PMQs 2 weeks ago, but then was kind of quiet on the issue, the footballer Marcus Rashford came forward and spearheaded a campaign to get the government to U-turn on this, and luckily yesterday they ended up doing so. The fact that we even need to debate whether or not children in poverty need to be fed is a pretty sad indictment on where the country's at morally in 2020. Luckily, Marcus Rashford, somebody who's been through this experience himself, he's told a lot of personal stories over the past few days about how he grew up, his mum working, raising 4, I think, kids, and they didn't always know where their next meal was going to come from. He was saying how his mum would skip meals so that they could all eat, and how this was quite a personal issue for him, and that the government should provide these meals for 1.3 million children that are eligible for them. So, yeah, I mean, this is a no-brainer to me, and I think to most people it is as well. You had the usual suspects coming out and arguing that taxpayers' money shouldn't go to children whose parents are too lazy to feed them. Well, 72% of children that live in poverty have at least one parent that works, so that argument is bullshit. We're incredibly lucky that this scheme has been extended, and it should continue to be extended to ensure that these children have the meals that they need. This government has U-turned consistently since the coronavirus crisis. It has fallen short on promises that it's made in PPE to NHS staff, in testing, in the test and trace app that was released, or the test and trace system that was released, on the NHS surcharge. It U-turned on that policy where migrant NHS workers were going to have to pay to get access to healthcare. U-turned on that. It's now U-turned on this, and it begs the question to me, really, what does this government stand for? And the fact that we need to be we need to scrutinise far more government policy, because almost everybody has agreed that this was a terrible idea, and that it should have been extended in the first place. It shouldn't have taken this massive campaign for it to be extended. Well, why weren't we aware of this before? Why weren't we aware that, or why hadn't more emphasis been put on these issues before, on this government's complete lack of moral compass, complete lack of empathy towards these children that haven't got enough money to eat? When I was doing the research for this video, I found a UNICEF report that suggested that 4.1 million children in this country, the 6th largest economy in the world, are living in poverty. 2.5 million British children are living in food insecure households, and 10% of children in the UK are living in severe food insecurity. So they have no idea where their next meal is going to come from. 10%. The EU, or the European average, is 4%. So we're severely lacking behind in this, and we have one of the largest economies in Europe. Lots of people have been speaking about this, and as I said, you have the usual suspects that come out and make the argument that children should just be allowed to starve, as if it's not the state's responsibility, and it's not our responsibility as a society to ensure that everybody lives comfortably. And I haven't seen a lot of policy suggestions, so I'm going to give you mine. First of all, increasing the minimum wage to a living wage across the country. I believe the campaign for a living wage puts this at about £10.25 per hour. I would also suggest abolishing 0 hours contracts as well, so that every job provides stability and every job provides enough money for people to be able to live. This puts more money back into the economy. It means that families have enough money to pay their rent, to pay their bills, to feed their children. These are just the fundamental things that as a society we should be providing for people to give them the economic opportunity and the stability that people need to flourish. Secondly, I would suggest reforming the welfare system and instituting a form of universal basic income. If you don't know what that is, it's £1,000 a month to every person over the age of 18. I would say that we could cap this at anybody that earns over maybe £80,000 or £100,000 a year wouldn't be eligible for universal basic income. But again, what this provides is economic opportunity for people. It provides them with enough funds for them to be able to cover the basic things that they need to survive, pay their rent, to buy food, to pay for their bills, and then take that burden off of people, take that economic burden off of people so that they have the opportunities to flourish. And again, this provides opportunity for people up and down the country. It isn't a London-centric thing. It isn't a Southern-centric thing. I think that if governments are serious about investing in the northern powerhouse, like like governments like to say, or levelling up the country, these are the things that you need to be looking at. Grassroots ways to tackle a lot of the issues that we see. Not spending billions of pounds invested in a railway line that's only really going to benefit those that live in London. Tackling the issues that normal, ordinary people in this country are facing up and down the country. And one of those things quite clearly is poverty. People are worried where the next meal is going to come from. Provide them with the economic security. Let's be decent enough to formulate a society where parents aren't worried about feeding their children. Surely that's the minimum that we should be doing. And then we build on and provide other things. But if you don't want your taxpayers' money, if we don't want our taxes to go to feeding children, where do we want our taxes to go? Do you just want to pay no tax? Do we just let children starve? Is that really where we're at as a society? I don't think these are huge asks, and the fact that it's taken a footballer, and I'm not knocking footballers, but the fact that it's taken a footballer to come out and have to argue for this and have to spearhead this is a pretty sad indictment. The point that we've got to now, and it beggars belief, we've got Boris Johnson thanking Marcus Rashford for pointing out all the flaws in a policy that Boris Johnson has U-turned on. Thanking him for shaming him into U-turning. That's where we've got to now. So this took far too long to be extended, and I would now like to see this extended always, and then other provisions be put in place. So let me know what you thought about Marcus Rashford's campaign. Let me know what you thought about how the opposition handled it and different ways that you think we can tackle poverty in this country. Thank you as always for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.